Hello, my name is Andrew Lane. I'm the head principal here at North Scott High School. I'm excited to have your son or daughter join us for the 25-26 school year as an incoming freshman. We wanted to make this video so you got to know some of our office staff and also to get you important information about next year to help your transition from the junior high to the high school a smooth one. As you can see, this is our vision here at the high school. Our main goal is that we prepare your son or daughter for life after high school. Our team here at the high school works hard together to make sure that your son or daughter gets very good instruction in the classroom and has a good experience while they're here. Our goal is that your son or daughter get involved in as many activities as possible. The high school has a lot of opportunities, not only academic, but within the CTE areas. We have a new regional ovation center that highlights the capstone courses for those classes. We also have a lot of clubs, many opportunities within the fine arts with Lancer Productions and band, music, choir, and we also have a very good sports program here. My encouragement is that your son or daughter get involved in something that they're passionate about, so they're around like-minded peers.
Hello everybody, I'm Officer Garrett Johns with the Eldridge Police Department. I am your school resource officer. If ever there's anything that you may need, any questions that you may have on a legal basis, I am your resource for that. My job is to try to keep kids out of trouble before they get into it, and if you do happen to make a mistake along the way, I'm also there to help you as well. Look forward to meeting you. If ever you see me in the halls, make sure to wave, high five, or fist bump. I'm all about that. I look forward to seeing you. Remember to be safe and be responsible.
Hello guys, my name's Mrs. Jepson. I am one of the 3 school counselors. I work with students that have the last name that starts with H through N. And so I'm going to talk over the graduation requirements, and then the other counselors will come in as well, and they will talk over the course selection process. So in order to graduate from North Scott High School, a student must collect 54 total credits. 32 of the 54 are your required core classes, so your English, your math, your science, social studies, and PE, and then the rest are your elective credits. In order to earn the credit, you must pass the class with a D- or above, and each semester class is worth 1 total credit. For 9th grade year, the ones that they are required to have for their core classes is English, math, science, social studies, 1 semester of health, and then 1 semester of PE or strength conditioning. So for English class, all freshmen should select Honors English 1 or English 1. For math, the options are Algebra 1 or Honors Geometry. For science, your options are Biology or Ag Biology. And then for social studies, all 9th graders will select U.S. History. And then as I mentioned earlier, they'll have 1 semester of health, and then the opposite semester will be PE or strength and conditioning. Outside of those core classes, we talked about the elective credits. So your 9th grade elective options are Ag Science, so Intro to Agricultural. If you're going to take Agricultural Biology, you must also sign up for Intro to Ag for your elective. Your art options are Art Attack, 2D Art, or 3D Art. If you took 8th grade art, then you can sign up for 2D or 3D Art right away. However, if you did not take 8th grade art, you must first select Art Attack. You could also then continue on to do 2D or 3D art 2nd semester, since those courses are only 1 semester long. Your next elective option is within Business and Information Solutions. So your option is Intro to Business, which is a year-long class, or semester-long classes, which is CSC 110, Intro to Computers. You could do CIS 121, Intro to Computer Programming and Logic. And those are all only 1 semester long. Your next elective option would be within Family and Consumer Sciences. Your options there are Intro to Foods, which then you could continue on and do Advanced Foods. And then your other one is Intro to Design. If you are interested in interior design, clothing and fashion design, you must take Intro to Design in order to sign up for those your sophomore year. Now, your other ones would continue on with Health Occupations. So Intro to Health, if you're interested in anything in the medical field, those would be a good one to take and explore. We have a lot of options within industrial tech. You have your intro to built environment, and then welding, which would start off with welding fundamentals, VR welding, workplace safety, otherwise blueprint reading, and parasolid modeling. Your next option would be within music. You can do band, choir, jazz band, or orchestra. And then the final one would be world language, which you would start off with Spanish 1 or Chinese 1. If you took Spanish throughout junior high in 7th and 8th grade, then you would do Spanish 2. We also ask that you, if you did it in junior high, that you ask your Spanish teacher for what level of Spanish 2 to sign up for. Now the next part is we'll talk about the registration process, and Mrs. Denahy will go ahead and explain that for you guys as well.
So on February 5th, the counselors had presented to the 8th grade classrooms in their Englishes, and we discussed all the course options and we viewed the schedules so they have a general understanding of what schedules look like and how it's different at the high school versus the junior high. During that time, during their English class, they should have received their course request sheets, and those course request sheets had math recommendations on there already that had been shared by their math teachers. So if you have any questions about the math recommendation, make sure you consult with your student's math teacher. Then the rest of the time we spent going over how to sign up for or how to fill out the course request sheet, and we recommended that the students take those sheets home, have conversations at home, talk to any friends or family members that have been through the high school and might have a little bit more understanding, talk to teachers, talk to their counselors either at the junior high, or you're welcome to contact your counselor at the high school as well. So after you have those conversations, there is a place for a student and parent signature both on that course request sheet. So once you look over the course request sheet and you have it all filled out, then the student is to return it to their science teacher. We will actually be returning to the science classes on February 20th. So make sure they bring that filled out, completed request sheet to their science teacher so we can help them enter that into Infinite Campus, into their course plan. If you have questions about the course options, there is information on our website. There's a link at the bottom of their course request sheet, and this is the same link that we're sharing here. So it has the course descriptions, there's course sequencing flowcharts so you understand how the progression of the courses go from the classes that you take freshman year and what that opens up for options for sophomore, junior, senior year. It also includes graduation and college requirements, credit information in order to graduate, and just other useful information that you may have questions about. So this is an example of what some of those course sequence flowcharts might look like. It's just a visual to help you understand where to get started depending on where you want to end up. So this is just an example of how those different flowcharts might align so you know what progression to take. As I mentioned before, once that registration sheet is complete, the student should return it to their science teachers. We will be coming back on February 20th. If you have any questions during this process, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm now going to introduce Ms. Nicolopoulos. She's going to continue to talk about the other steps within the process.
Hi, my name is Anastasia Nicolopoulos, and I am the school counselor for students with the last name A through G. So to kind of recap of what we've talked about today, the final steps of registration is, like Ms. Denahy just mentioned, students will turn in their registration sheets to their science teachers. On February 20th, Ms. Denahy, Mrs. Jepson, and I will come in and meet with the students in their science classes and help them actually input the course requests into Infinite Campus. Again, we can't reiterate enough. If you parents are new to this process or have any questions, please feel free to email us or call us. We understand it can be confusing, so we would be more than happy. We're all very flexible and we'd be more than happy to have an in-person meeting or a phone meeting. For those students that have filled out the English Honors application, the English Honors application was due on February 14th, so we will not know by the 20th necessarily if your child was accepted into that honors class or not. So what we've told the students is go ahead and register for what you think you're going to be in, and we can make those changes then later. For those students with an IEP, please know that we will work with the 8th grade counselor and administrators to help with that schedule and those placements. So we will also be working with case managers and setting up meetings so that we can review the IEP and set up a transition plan for high school. Final notes. So this can be really overwhelming, and we understand that, and kids had lots and lots of questions when we came into the classroom. But the 8th graders will come over in late May, and we will do what we call a step-up day. So on that day, students will come in, they'll meet some of their teachers, they'll go through the cafeteria, have lunch, and be able to ask questions and get information. So on the screen, you will see our information. So feel free to contact us anytime. Our information is listed here, and we are looking forward to hearing from you.
As our counselors have shared, freshmen will have 4 core classes: social studies with U.S. history, a math course, a science course, either biology or ag biology, and English 1. They will also be taking health and a PE course. My suggestion is that when they get to select their other electives, they find areas that they're passionate about, and that's where we really want you to take that process seriously, because that helps us look at numbers of those courses, and it helps us determine staffing for those areas. So please, when you are filling out your schedules with your counselors here in the next couple of weeks, make sure your son or daughter takes that seriously, and I would be encouraging you to have those conversations in your homes. What kind of profession do they want to get into? What kind of career path do they want to take? And then plan the courses appropriately with their counselors. Thank you for that. As you can see on this slide, we will be able to do some schedule changes in August if necessary, and or due to staffing. Last year we had a unique situation where we didn't get all the staff hired that we wanted to, and we had to be flexible with our schedule. So we can do that to the start of the year, but we will be taking the course requests that your son or daughter does here in the next week or two to determine our schedule. Some things at the high school are very similar to what the junior high did. Students will have an MTSS period. We call that WIN, What I Need Now, and that is in the middle of the day paired with lunch. It essentially is a chance for them to get the need that they need for classes that they're struggling in. It is also a chance for them to go see teachers if they're doing well and they want to do enrichment. They have that every day paired with lunch. Our schedule is an every other day schedule, block schedule. An A and B schedule is what we have. So on any given day, your son or daughter will have 5 different classes with a potential different win time. That does create a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of confusion, but I really like it because I think it creates a responsibility for them to know where they're supposed to be, and hopefully that will help them when they go to college and they have Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, or Tuesday, Thursday classes, or when they get into their career or their job and they might be at different places on different days. It will hopefully prepare them to look at their schedule and know where they're supposed to be.
Hi there, my name is Dan Marceau, one of our associate principals here at the high school. Some of my main roles is I deal with student disciplines and behaviors, a lot of our student supports in our MTSS system, as well as being our district technology coordinator. So some things I want to talk to you about today are student schedules, what that looks like, as well as our grading and feedback system. So first up here, you will see our bell schedule at North Scott High School. We are a little bit different than the junior high in the sense that we have 4 blocks in a given day, and those rotate between an A and B day. So what you see there on the standard schedule portion of that is what a typical A day would be. So we do have our first period that meets every day for 45 minutes. That would be a band or orchestra for students that take those classes, as well as we have some college courses that are available during that time. Second, third, fourth, and fifth are all your core and elective classes. Those will meet for 80 minutes every other day. And then in the middle of our day, between third and fourth block, we have our lunch and our intervention period, which I'll talk a little bit more about on the next screen. but that's our win time, which is very similar to how the junior high does their boost time, and that teachers assign students that maybe need a little bit extra support, some extension opportunities. And then on Fridays, we use that time for our seminar, which is like our homeroom, as well as some clubs to pique the interest of our students. So with that, this screen shows what a sample freshman schedule might look like. You will see on A days, the student would have band, similar to B days, because that is an everyday period with that first period class. Going down there, their second block would be an English 1 class, followed by a study hall. The win time and lunch, that is based on the win teacher that you are assigned to. So for this instance, that student would eat lunch during the first portion of that period and then go to their win period with their algebra teacher. Following that, they go to fourth and fifth block, which would be an intro design class, followed by algebra. On the B day, they would still go to that first period band class, followed by their block schedule for Intro to Built and U.S. History. Their win period, they would be going with their band teacher, but that band teacher has late lunch in this scenario. So they would actually go to their win period first, followed by lunch, and then finish their day with biology and health. Again, this is just a sample schedule, but it does give you an idea of what that A and B rotation looks like, as well as kind of a preview as to how those win assignments work and how we balance them with our lunch period. The final item I would like to talk to you about is standards-based grading. We do this almost exactly the same as they do at the junior high, so for a lot of you, this will be very consistent. Really, what we're looking at is we want something that is accessible to students and is accurate and reports their level of learning. So we're not looking so much at the points that you're chasing, but we really want to know what is the student's level of understanding of a specific topic. So you'll see there that our levels of learning are sophisticated, competent, developing, initial, or potentially no evidence. And a big piece of standards-based grading is feedback. We want the interaction between student and teacher to be a two-way street. Students submit work, teachers submit feedback. And the big thing we're focusing on is that feedback is timely and actionable. What that means for us is that we want the student to receive something that they will be able to improve upon so that they can improve their level of learning. Evidence. Evidence for us is basically everything that a student shows us towards a standard. So some of that evidence will be given a score of a level of learning, and some of that evidence will simply be collected and given feedback or say, yes, I have this from the teacher's standpoint. And then all of that evidence does point towards a standard. So a standard score is what you will see in the grade book that starts to calculate towards a final letter grade. So a standard score is going to take all of that evidence that a student has given up to that point and put it into one level of learning for that standard. And then your course grades, which you'll get at the end of each semester, is an average of each of those standards. So for instance, if a course has 6 essential standards, you'll receive a level of learning on all 6 of those standards, and then those levels of learning will be averaged into one final letter grade for a course.
Greetings. My name is Aaron Schwartz, and I am one of the associate principals here at North Scott High School. I would like to take this chance to welcome the students and families to North Scott High School and part of what we do here. We're excited to have you and can't wait to work with you to improve your students' future. As you can see, my contact information is here on the screen. I do want to stress again, we are here to help, so feel free to reach out to me at any time. And you can see a list there of things that you will hear from me on throughout the school year. We see attendance, which your daily notifications will have my email address on those. Again, feel free to reply to those with any questions or concerns at any time. I do also oversee the district safety and security with our ALICE programming and safety policies procedures. At the high school, you will see some work with discipline and intentions with me, which is where I get most of my fan base here at the high school. And I also oversee IEPs and 504s here at the high school, as well as our online Edgenuity learning platform. The big thing I want to talk about today is attendance and just the importance it is for your student to be in school when they are able on a daily basis so that they are in seats in front of highly qualified teachers learning the material to help them be successful. We do ask that on days that your student cannot make it in, that all of those absences are communicated through the school. You can see two methods to do that there through our attendance secretary, Ms. Lori Judge. We do ask that those absences are reported within 24 hours. Everyone is kind of navigating this change this year, the new Iowa State Code. And so I just wanted to touch on a few things here that hopefully, again, we're becoming more comfortable with, but I do know create some anxiety when deciding whether or not to send your child to school. And so I just wanted to clarify that we look at these on two different levels. The piece that everyone is nervous about is the state side. And when you're looking at your Infinite Campus at absences, you will see two colors, green and red. The colors are used when we are talking about the truancy law with the state. Anything that is green is an excused absent per state. Anything that is red is unexcused. You may also see gray codes on there from time to time. Those are actually counted as in attendance. When we talk about school consequences, as far as we have detentions for students who miss class or appeals, what you need to be aware of is you're only looking at one code on there, and it is the red UN code, which stands for unexcused. Those are coded when a student misses a class for an unknown reason, would be equated to what used to be called a truant. Last but not least for me is the exciting dental screening. This is just a reminder that there is a Iowa State required form that must be submitted for your child to attend the high school. We ask you get those in as soon as possible. If you have seen your dentist within the last 6 months, you may reach out and have them complete that form for that. You do not need a new appointment. Otherwise, we ask you get that done as soon as you can once the year starts. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason Schroeder. I'm the Athletic Director and Activities Director for North Scott High School, grades 9 through 12. This is my 13th year as the Athletic Director, Activities Director, and I am a 97 graduate of North Scott. So it's always a lot of pride and honor to be here with you guys and ladies. We'll kind of start some things off, go through activity practices and schedules. That's kind of the big thing everyone wants to know about. Majority of our practices, we are at 3:30, usually conclude around 6. There could be some variation of things, maybe go later in the evening. But majority of the time, that is when our practices are for activities and events. A couple examples we might have to have late in the evening, we launch productions. Sometimes we go late in the evening based on the time of the year. Also, we work around other activities and athletic events as well. So majority of the time, 3:36 is our time frame. Summer camps. Summer camps are all going to be on Bound. That'll come out a lot in April at the time. We do have a couple of camps on there right now. Launch Production has a big camp in June. That is posted right now and is live. You can register for that camp right now if you are interested in attending that. Our athletics and schedules and everything should be on Bound as well. So anything you need to see competition-wise, events at North Scott are on Bound. That's our main hub for all of our athletics and activities for North Scott. A couple of things with Bound. We are asking everybody to register on Bound regardless if you are playing a sport or activity. That way you're in the system. We'll kind of go through everything that needs to be done for that. So a couple of things you need to have. Some basic things. Physical, up to date. Make sure those are up to date, ready to go. Our student handbook, that goes through all of our rules and regulations. So please read that. Take a look at those type of things. It does go through our grading, how grades work for eligibility purposes. Code of conducts. It has some academic NCAA requirements in there as well we can look at to help you guys through the transition process here. Other big small thing, concussion sheets. That is not your baseline concussion testing. That is something different. Concussion sheet, just going through the rules and regulations of what a concussion is. The other thing you will have to get complete with Mr. Tim Block if you're playing athletics is a baseline concussion test. That is where you go through a testing system, basically work on mobility, work on some balance to make sure if a concussion does happen in the future, we have a good protocol system for you to come back and return to play action. For freshmen, usually those are done this summer. We'll try to start in May for baseball and softball, but majority of those will be done this summer. So kind of look for those dates coming out. We'll keep everybody posted on that. Strength conditioning. We do encourage our student athletes and all students to lift as much as possible. Our lifting times are 6:15 to about 7:30 for freshmen on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Fridays will be at about 1:15 for anyone to get a third additional lift in. So those are kind of your time frames during the school year. The other thing we do have is lifting during the school day. So how this works, you are required to take one PE class per year, and that's actually per semester. So you'll take, say you take semester 1 PE, that means you do not need to take strength training for a semester. You're obviously welcome to take additional lifting if you want to, but in the second semester comes around, you will take not PE, you will have early bird Tuesdays, Thursdays, during that 6:15 to 7:30 time frame. Obviously, any conflicts or questions, let me know on that. Also, let your coaches know. We always, like I said, we're encouraging as much lifting as possible. 2 to 3 times a week would be great. We understand, situations arise. So other things we want to like to share. We're going to work on some things here as well that we'll have on our website soon. College Bound Interest, NCAA Eligibility Center. Those are big things to make sure you're interested in going on beyond high school with athletics and activities. Please look at those type of things. We are working on a brochure right now that will be on our website. Kind of go through a lot of just basic questions to help you through that transition process of the high school to college. There is a lot of information to share. We have an NCAA registration checklist and also NCAA frequently asked questions. Make sure you take a look at those 2 things. Like I said before, we are looking at a brochure pamphlet to kind of help you through those basic questions you may have. Other rules you may need to know. Guidance on a scholarship rule, it becomes quite a bit. So there's certain requirements of what you can and cannot do in the state of Iowa. One question I get a lot is, can I go on a college visit? Yes, you may. The second question I get is, can I go on a college visit and work out with that team? Yes, you may, but there is a situation to that. You're only allowed to do that one time. So I tell everybody what that rule is, like, make sure this is a school you are very interested in, you want to attend to. Like I said, you only get to do that one time, and that needs to be recorded with me. So make sure it's something you guys are interested in doing. Please let me know. And I would say I would not use this time my freshman, sophomore year. Maybe look at that junior year, look at that time frame to use that type of eligibility process. The other thing I'm in charge of at North Scott is driver's education. Driver's education, you must be 14 years old to drive at North Scott. With some stipulation we have on that. Obviously, a question I get a lot is, can the 8th grader drive to the junior high right now? The answer is a no. So make sure you're aware of that. We start signing school permits, or I'll start signing school permits for freshmen once the school year is complete. So look around maybe that June 5th, 6th time frame. We start signing those paperwork for students that want to drive to North Scott High School for certain events. So some of the rules we have with this, okay, like I said, must be 14 and a half years old. Okay, so you must have your instructor permit for 6 months. You must have passed a driver's education class that you can maybe take with your parents now, or take it through a driver AEA type driver's education place. School license only allows students to drive from school to home. Okay, it does not allow you to drive to McDonald's after school or to your job. That is a different permit for your job permit. We'll make sure you're aware of that. And with your school permit, you must drive the most direct route possible. Okay, so that type of issues. School license should not be used to pick up friends, stop for food, etc. So make sure you are not stopping at your friend's house along the way to pick them up. It is from home to school. We'll make sure you're aware of that. You can have one other person in the car. It should be a sibling. Okay, it's not allowed to be a friend. Just so you want to make sure you're kind of aware on that. Obviously, they do change the laws quite a bit, so I want to make sure you're aware of that as well too.
We have a lot going on at the high school, and we're proud of a lot of things that we do. We want you to stay connected and stay in the loop. Here are ways you can do so. We also send out a weekly message that goes out on Thursday at 5 o'clock to your text and or to your email. That's all I have. Thank you for listening. Go Lancers.